Alrighty, we're back live here on the Windham Arts Radio Review. My name is John Murphy. I'd like to invite you to join me here in the studio at WILI in the future program. If you have some news you want to share, if you're with an organization, if you have a special program or event, the microphones here are open every Wednesday. So the simple way to connect is just email, believe it or not. John@windhamarts.org is the big connection for any information for us to share with you on our website as well. John@windhamarts.org. So I'm very happy to continue now, and we're going to look at great local theater in our area. I should say award-winning theater now from the Windham Theater Guild. But they've had another addition to the family, Fractured Theater. They've had their third program coming up. It's opening. It's called Body Awareness. And we have Ava Molnar with us today. She's the director. And we have two cast members. We have Preeti Tiwari, who plays Phyllis. And we have Cody Motivans, who plays Jared. So I thank you all for being here. And Ava, it's good to have you back in the studio.
Always good to be back.
So maybe our first lead before we jump in deeper is just the basic facts and the story itself and what's the experience that day is going to be like.
So Body Awareness is a script by Annie Baker that I have been in love with since college. So I'm very excited to be able to bring it to this Theater Guild stage through our Fractured Theater program.
Mm-hmm.
The story follows Phyllis, who works at a college. She's organizing Body Awareness Week. And we see her family at home, her girlfriend Joyce and Joyce's adult son Jared. And through the course of events, one of the artists from Body Awareness Week is staying with them, and he kind of augments some of the underlying tension that has been happening with their family. One of the storylines being that his art is very provocative in some ways that Phyllis doesn't agree with, and also the family has been dealing with Jared possibly having Asperger's, and so he starts confiding more in Frank, and that kind of creates more tension within the family as well.
The title is well chosen because of all the layers of body awareness
Yes.
that are at play,
Mm-hmm.
and your awareness or lack of awareness.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit, Ava. As a director, your joy is the overall creation and some of the images and the ways that the thoughts are transmitted. How did you approach staging this or lighting it and employing any physical presence to add to the actual storyline?
Mm-hmm. Well, the way that this show is written, it's divided into 3 different areas. So we focus mainly on the kitchen of their house, the bedroom, and the auditorium, which are 3 different levels of being around someone, right? Bedroom, very intimate and closed. You only share it with a few people.
Right.
Kitchen is a little more public. You invite guests into there. And the auditorium is a very public space. She is standing in front of a large crowd of people. So it's kind of different levels of intimacy within those 3 spaces, which are all housed on stage at the same time.
And that's a big Asperger's experience issue, is close contact, proximity, things like that nature,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and picking up on social cues and kind of being around people and what that's like for processing. So the way that we have it staged, everything is on stage the entire time, and the actors get to kind of transition seamlessly from one scene to another. There isn't a whole lot of stage crew coming on, moving things. It's mainly just them being in the space and then transitioning to the next space.
And Phyllis, if I can call you Phyllis, if
Please do. I'm honored. Please do.
I may. Indeed. At least for the next few days. You have to stay there, I know. When you have a character that goes through this experience, how do you translate it in a way that an audience can connect to, beyond the physical, but the inner? So how do you transmit that inner where it's beyond the words?
So, first off, John, I would start by saying why I think everyone should come see the show.
Okay, please.
And I will just add to what Ava was saying earlier. So I think the reason everyone should come see the show is body awareness to me is about keeping your family together despite all odds. It's about accepting not just yourself, but also coming to terms with the differences of opinion you might have with your family members. It's like, how they say that 2 entirely different people fall in love or get married or start living together, and then they spend the rest of their lives trying to change each other. So knowing that no 2 people are alike and loving and respecting your family members for who they are, giving them their space, and and then giving them their space. So that's what I think body awareness to me means, that in spite of how dysfunctional you think your family is, in the end, love conquers all. So that to me, why I think is the reason why everyone should please come see the show. Now, coming to why Phyllis is, as Ava already alluded to, what Phyllis's character is about. I think more than me, I think the audience, your listeners, and you yourself, please come and see the show and decide for yourselves whether I have done justice to Phyllis or not. But I will say this, that in trying to breathe life to Phyllis, I have learned so much from Phyllis, because Phyllis encourages you to be yourself. She accepts her own self for who she is. And then in the entire play, she goes through the arc of accepting her family members for who they are as well. Because it's not just accepting your own self for who you are.
Right.
Your loved ones, you should be able to accept them for who they are as well. And when Ava offered me the role of Phyllis, I was thrilled, because I just love Phyllis. And there are at least like 5 reasons why I love Phyllis. And it's like, if I could count it on my fingers, one is that she is a diehard feminist. And I'm very proud to be a diehard feminist myself. I'm very proud of that. And second, I think she loves philosophizing just like myself. Then I think she's very opinionated and she's very vocal about it. And I also think that she is, she just speaks her mind. She essentially just speaks her mind. All of those 5 things which I hated about myself all these years, I think when I see them in Phyllis, I just love Phyllis for that.
I can see.
So for that reason, please come see the show. Not just for Phyllis, we have a great, amazing cast. I think Ava is a very visionary director. She has assembled an incredibly talented cast, or actors as my castmates. But I think when it came to me, nobody else auditioned for the role, so she cast me as Phyllis.
Wow. I feel like I'm in a rehearsal. Some basic information. The performances, Thursday, February 28th, 7:30. Well, they're all 7:30. There's a 2 p.m. matinee. So Thursday the 28th, 7:30. Friday, March 1st, 7:30. Saturday, March 2nd, 7:30. And then Sunday, March 3rd, 2 p.m. WindhamTheaterGuild.org is the website for all the presentations. They're there. You can get your tickets in advance or at the door. It's at the Burton Levitt Theater in beautiful downtown Willimantic. Okay, I'm going to have to bring in our other actor, Jared.
Hi.
Hey, can you share your version of the process that Phyllis described from the point of view of your character, as well as the situation of that character's body and their perception challenges in these different settings?
Okay.
Because that's an everyday life thing. It's with you every day. It isn't something that comes and goes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a different experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Well, I've never played a character like this before, first of all. And I've seen people dealing with this mental disorder. And I've always been fascinated by it, because you essentially don't have a filter. In your you don't know how to pick up social cues properly. And having friendships with these kind of people and picking up on little nuances was a really, really interesting experience to have, for sure. As far as the character goes within the story, I think it's...
no spoilers, of course.
No spoilers. No, of course. See the show. Come see the show. No spoilers. I just think that it's really fascinating how my relationship with Phyllis, with my mother, the actress who that unfortunately isn't here right now, but and the guest artist, how it all intersects, because I'm just I feel like I'm the emotional arc of the story in a way, and the show isn't completely about me. It's about all of us, but I'm the one who kind of brings that roller coaster ride.
Mm-hmm.
And I find it really fascinating because the show is about body awareness, but
Right.
this young man who has a social disorder is just causing this trouble.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely an amazing experience.
Well, sometimes we all know trouble is magic in disguise. Right?
Very true.
Isn't that true?
Very true.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing for you too, Cody. You're a young Turk. How long have you been doing theater? And you said you've never played a role like this before, and I'm sure most people will say that. But how does this affect your arc, and how long have you been doing your work in theater as your art form?
Okay, I've been doing theater since 2015. Right when actually, she was my first director.
Okay.
And I got into theater actually by losing a bet to my best friend in high school.
I love that.
Yeah,
What a
of
great
all things.
story.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he had to do his own work for 2 weeks, and
Yeah.
he did it. And he had an audition for the school play, and I got in, and then I ended up enjoying it. But I didn't actually switch into theater until sophomore year at Eastern Connecticut State University, just because I still wanted to pursue computer science. But yeah, I've been in that show, which was The Bird in the Book. Then I was in Julius Caesar. Then I was in Hamlet for Kids. Then I was an extra for this show called Short Stuff, Attack of the Moral Fuzzies. And then I was backstage for Thread City at Eastern.
Oh, yes.
And then I was backstage for The Lion in the Winter at the Theater
Thread
Guild.
City was incredible.
Oh,
Wasn't
it was
a
a-
whole immigration story.
Yeah.
I think my mic is a little off. I seem to be off. That's my headphones. There
Yeah,
we go. There we go. All right. Yeah, Thread City was a marvel, though.
Oh, it was.
Because it was a
amazing.
nonstop thing. Once the story began, the energy never stopped for the whole show.
Yeah,
That was a
even
great job.
backstage, working backstage was
Yeah.
very
Exhausting.
Yeah, oh, it was very exhausting, but
Not
it
to
was,
mention Travis
it
right
was-
there.
it was so worth it.
Yeah.
And then I was in To Kill a Mockingbird last summer, and now I'm doing this.
Right. We talked about that a lot. To Kill a Mockingbird was so perfect for the times. And in a way, this is too, by the way, in case you joined us, we're talking about body awareness. Ava, are there any aspects of the play, again, no spoilers, but as a director, you've got the full thing going all the time.
Yeah.
Are there any other things you want to share about either the staging or the music or anything that adds some element of the experience, which so much of it is interior here, but
Yeah.
the outside stuff?
Well, I think honestly, with this piece, what I have been trying to do the most is really create the intimacy of the home for those scenes that we have within the kitchen and within the bedroom. We had quite a few rehearsals off-site, so not in the theater, where we actually came to my apartment and would sit down and we would have a family dinner. And we're trying to make sure that we keep that kind of feeling of what it's like to
It's
be
a real
at home.
space there, and you just
Yeah.
move it out. Yeah.
Exactly, because
Right.
being on stage, it's incredibly different, the feeling of being on stage, because it's so vast, because it's so open to the audience and everything. So trying to hold on to that feeling of being at home while you're on stage is something that
Oh,
we've
yeah.
been working a lot.
But that's the actor's muse, too. That's their joy, is to be
Yeah.
able to pull that off
Yeah.
and not even notice.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we should talk a bit fractured theater. Talk about controversy. Fat Pig. How about that for the opening show?
Yeah.
Jim York was here for that. It's a powerful opener.
It is. It is.
So it's it's very much part of the Windham Theater Guild family.
Yes.
But it's a different animal, and you're always looking for new participants.
Oh, always.
So can you talk about how fractured theater might be a different experience than somebody who might expect if there is such a thing as a traditional regional theater experience?
Yeah.
How is this a very different animal?
Yeah, well, most of the time when you see like a regional theater or community theater, the lineup for the season does have a lot of more lighthearted comedies, because that is
Or
something,
musicals sometimes,
Yeah,
right?
musicals.
Yeah,
That's something that's really enjoyable and very pleasing to a lot of people. What Fractured Theater is trying to do is create opportunities for more modern pieces, more dialogue invoking pieces. So we did start with Fat Pig by Neil LaBute. We did Fool for Love by Sam Shepard. And then now Body Awareness being our third piece, probably the least explosive of the three we've done so far. Fat Pig and Fool for Love were both very strongly charged pieces, whereas Body Awareness is a little more subtle in its ways. But the overall theme is that we are looking to provoke thought and provoke dialogue between people. And as part of that, we like to offer talkbacks after each of the shows.
That's right.
So, for example, with this show, it is a one act, so there's no intermission. So instead, what we do is we'll present the show in full. We have a short break where concessions is open, and then we offer a talkback with myself and the cast. So it's just creating opportunities for dialogue and creating opportunities for people to engage with the art that they've just seen. And I think that's really where a community theater can thrive, is when you're really highlighting the community aspect of theater.
And also using theater to discuss and explore everyday life, that stories that have not yet been shared.
Exactly.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
So here's a crystal ball question now. Has your group been thinking about your next adventure?
Yes, we have.
Is there anything you can say publicly with the microphones open?
I'm not sure if I have permission to
Come on,
share.
TMZ is here.
Yeah.
TMZ is here. They want to know.
But there might be some heavy hitter pieces coming up, and definitely some recognized names coming up.
Excellent. 2 this year, 2019. Is it like 2 more here? You know, here we are in March, February, and at the end of the month. Do you have
Yeah.
like maybe 2 more for this year?
I think our goal is to have another one coming up in the spring and then one in the fall.
Okay. Well, we'll look forward to having you back with the next one to unveil.
Yeah, of course.
And once again, Body Awareness, it's going to be Thursday the 28th, Friday, March 1st, Saturday, March 2nd at 7:30, Sunday, March 3rd, 2 p.m. matinee, all at the Burton Levitt Theater. And to connect to these good folks and Fractured Theater and the Windham Theater Guild, go to the website, windhamtheaterguild.org. So I wish you a great success. I look forward to seeing the show
Thank
one
you.
night.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here, and to be continued, we'll say. So we're going to take a short musical break here and then come back and share some arts news and some grant news that we do at the end of the show each week before we close. But, you know, it's wintertime, snowing and icing. I thought we'd hit the shoreline down south or out in Rhode Island. This is a classic from Santo and Johnny. Enjoy.